everyone. Welcome to Poor Choices Dadcast. My name is Extra Girl. Tugs is off getting a glass of wine.
I'm here. Sorry. We're trying to plug in it's not, the computer's not charging. I'm in a hotel. Hi, everybody.
Hi. And we have my lovely internet father,
Hello,
Alan,
internet
on
daughter.
today.
Yay!
This is something that had to happen, but weirdly enough, I wanted to meet you first before having you on. I don't know why. If my plane wasn't delayed, I wanted Kara to videotape us meeting for the first time. Either it could be really funny or really awkward, but it didn't happen that way, unfortunately.
Yeah, and you would have gone out to lunch with us doing dim sum.
I met my brother, apparently,
Yeah, and you would have seen Wonka with Kara.
I know! Oh, I heard she liked it.
Yeah, it's good. It's actually good.
Yeah. Well, I will watch it at some point. I gotta watch the earlier versions first.
Oh, the Gene Wilder.
The earlier versions of what? What are we talking about? I'm so sorry.
Wonka.
Oh, I will not be seeing the new one.
Kara said she liked it, so
yeah, it's if you like Paddington, you'll like Wonka.
What if you like Gene Wilder? Will you like Wonka?
It does lead into the Gene Wilder Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh, okay. If you
it ends with the song.
Oh, okay. And that might make me feel better. I did not like the Johnny Depp. There's a hot take. Not my favorite. I was like, what is this? What is this? So
I mean, I know there's candy and a river of some sort of juice looking thing and orange people. So Trump's in there, right?
Hot take about the Wonka. When you watch it for the first time, I'm going to give you this hot take. The grandfather is the true villain. So I'm just going to
I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that.
We got Graph Web for $2. Says hashtag cancel Disney Plus. Yes.
Cancel Disney Plus and subscribe to Film Threat.
Yes, definitely. Which we are at 100K. You got to 169.
I know. Thanks to you and
okay. Just kidding. No more subscriptions. 69.
No, they're way past that now.
Right? I was like 100. No, I mean 169. Wow, that's awesome.
Which is awesome. You guys need to have 100K sub party like I did with my 20K. That was fun. A very eclectic mix of human beings.
Yeah, it's weird. We hadn't even talked about that. I think we talked about things we'll do once we hit 100,000, but I don't think we ever talked about a
little
party. Celebration. Yeah,
just do a party. It'd be fun. Just like your guest favorites. I'm producing your channel now. I just want to see that.
Your favorite guests. You can do your favorite moments. You can do just like open the StreamYard link and let chaos reign. I mean, there's all kinds of
that.
I don't want to imagine what that is like. Who would come in? But in any case, so today's Dadcast, of course, we're going to talk about Alan as a father, and I'm kind of interested in this like Hollywood angle. And I mean, I saw you took your daughter, my sister, to these parties, which that is insane. She got to meet at a Barbie party Margot Robbie, Ryan Gosling, and as a preteen, teenager, or even young child, that would be like the highlight of my life. But this sounds like it's something it could be semi-regular.
Yeah, actually, she's been joining me on some of these excursions for the last 3 years. Wow. At least since the pandemic ended, and we. So she's met people, but she's in her second year of high school, and I guess she's been doing this since junior high, and I find that it doesn't carry a lot of weight for her at school. There's certain people who it's like she's met a lot of celebrities, but only a few have her friends been jealous with. Certainly Ryan and Margot was the big one, but
I'm jealous.
Like last year it was Glenn Powell from Top Gun Maverick, and it was Johnny Knoxville. That was the other one.
even old enough to know who that is.
Yeah, no, she saw the Jackass trailer, and
okay.
and she was excited to see it and excited to meet him, and at that party was Bono and the Edge, and she didn't know who they were and could care less.
It's so interesting to see what the next generation kind of concentrates their energy on in terms of their entertainment. And we've been so critical, at least in this sector of the internet, like we're like TikTok is horrible, it's toxic. And it would be so interesting to literally live with someone who loves that sort of stuff. And I'm not sure if she likes it, but who does
Yeah.
she?
Yeah,
She
she's been into YouTube since 7 years old, and she has no clue what terrestrial television is. When she was young, she was buying these little Shopkins, these little anthropomorph, whatever, these little things you buy at stores, and they look like little people, and she bought those, and then she went on, and this is when Frozen came out, and she would watch YouTubers do skits with Anna and Elsa dolls. Then it got into My Little Pony, and so their YouTubers are making scenes and things with My Little Pony, and she would just watch that over and over again, and that was television to her.
So did you introduce that to her, or how did she even find that out?
She found it. I mean, this was back when you could watch YouTube on your television. And so she'd be in my room, and she'd just turn it on and just watch it endlessly. So this is a fairly new thing.
Interesting. I can't imagine, like, when I was a kid, I'd go to our like bookshelf of VHS tapes and pick from there, or like Saturday morning cartoons, the stuff at 4 p.m. when you come home from school was usually like the only good time for cartoons. And
you had to run. You had to run.
Yeah.
Well, when I was your age, it was.
Did you cross rivers and mountains to get?
Yeah,
we on the Oregon Trail.
It was, we had 12 channels, and you watch whatever was on the channel at that time. There's no VCR, no nothing, and so it was a lot of Bugs Bunny cartoons, Batman, Gomer Pyle, I Love Lucy, and then the news.
And the news.
Yeah.
And then the TV would shut off at what was that? Like 2 a.m?
Yeah, 2 a.m. They'd play off.
Oh,
play
they
off
stopped playing at 2?
Yeah, the TV.
I had no clue.
Yeah, if you kept it on, we would keep it on. Like if we were sick or something as kids, even when I was little, it would shut off, and it became like it would do that whole boop, and then go to static.
Pattern.
Yeah, it would go straight.
You may see it once in a while. It's a test pattern. One has an Indian on it.
Yep.
Wow, I'm learning stuff right now. Oh my goodness.
So
yeah, and we didn't have cable. There was no internet, so it was all on those rabbit ears. And
I love those. And then I hated them and loved them.
All the kids, the youngest kids, had like the job of holding the ears. Don't move.
Don't move it.
As soon as it starts like getting staticky.
Yeah. Oh, let's go back there. The good old days. I miss it.
I'm lucky I never went through it then. Clearly. I've only seen it on television. But I guess given the differences in terms of entertainment from what you've experienced kind of growing up into what she's experiencing, did you have a hard time kind of implementing like schedule for work, school, hobbies? Because I mean, it looks like she has a couple hobbies from what I observed from the weekend. And I guess that keeps her busy, but how do you keep her from being on YouTube too often since it's so accessible?
Well, yeah, I don't think I've succeeded in that area.
Oh no!
It's like she just found the things that she was interested in. Like all of a sudden, I see her playing Minecraft on my computer, and she still plays it, and so she got into that, into Roblox. Then Minecraft came on iPads, and so she was just fully into Minecraft. It was and it was a weird time growing up for her and us, because when she was around 4 or 5, that's when the market crash happened, the housing crash. And I was working at a credit union, one of the largest credit unions in the nation.
That's a bank, right?
Yeah, and then when the market crashed and the government decided to clamp down on what credit unions could do, that's when I lost my job.
Oh my
And
God.
yeah, and then it was like the realization of I'm done with the office. I can't go into an office anymore. And and so I'll admit it, I was Ubering for a very long time and made some pretty good money.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and that's what allowed me to get the flexibility and time to be able to do Film Threat, and you know,
Ah,
I'll just say we're doing pretty good right now, and
I'd say,
I'm
yeah.
doing side gigs a lot less than I.
Congrats on that. I
Yeah,
had no idea. I just assumed you were kind of in the biz for your whole life.
yeah. I mean,
But
it's okay. Well, I mean that's a bigger picture of my life because not only was doing that, I was doing improv comedy down in San Diego. I've been doing improv comedy for over 30 years, and tried to do it in LA and Orange County, and
Good luck.
I found a place in San Diego that I just loved, and our philosophy when it comes to doing improv meshed with my philosophy of doing improv, and I just decided, okay, this is it, and it's again, the show's so good that it's actually a viable business, and and we get paid. We actually get paid for doing improv, but it's not a whole lot. But it's it's nice to be part of something successful like that, and so I've just kind of cast aside any dreams of Hollywood and said, this is where my creative fix is going, and
I
I've been
love
doing it.
that. Something you're
I love
passionate
it.
about, you can
Yeah,
make a little bit of money. It's might not be
yeah, barely any.
a
It
whole
pays my
heck of a
gas to live in
lot,
San
but
Diego.
it's something at
Yeah.
least.
Hmm.
And so you have been in the biz, so to speak, since you were younger. You had the office job, ended up losing the office job and getting into, I guess, the Ubering and side gigs and whatnot.
Yeah.
How did you meet Chris?
How did I meet Chris? Okay. The first time I met Chris was at E3, and he was dating a friend of mine from my improv group, and I didn't know it. I
Oh.
hadn't seen her in a couple of years, and there she was with Chris, and so I met him briefly, and he barely remember. I don't think he remembers it at all. And then another friend of mine from that improv group, he was doing a podcast that I was helping him produce, and he knew Chris, and so we met through that. But it wasn't until 2017 where I was doing a Futurama press event, and I met
Oh.
Chris there. Told him that I do movie reviews, and he said, "Send me some samples." He liked it, started reviewing, and then by the time Sundance rolled around that year, he was like, "Hey, we need someone to run the website while we're all at Sundance. Can you do it?" And I said yes, and
Ah.
proved that I'm a professional and know what I'm doing, and I don't create a lot of drama. And
You
so
know,
it was at that point that
that's
I kind of took a bigger role with Film Threat.
that's a hard person to find
Hmm.
realistically, and that I know this is Dadcast, but that you can use this in any part of your life.
Hmm.
I think networking, especially in kind of the California area, Hollywood area, you need to be able to network and remember people and talk to people and make these connections because you never know where
Yeah,
your life is going to go.
Oh yeah.
absolutely.
Uh,
Well, I mean,
and
I tell my daughter because she's thinking about finding a job just to make some extra money and get the experience. And the two things I tell her is you need to work hard and you need to be reliable. And if you
Mhm.
can get a job that handles money, that's even better. Uh, but I think I have found that above anything else, people want someone who's reliable and someone who can do the job. Do the job.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Trust and competence
Yep.
is the two key things. Like, I really hate this interview question, but it's like, what is your biggest weakness? It's like, how do you find a weakness that you can turn into a positive? Oh, and I tell all my
Yeah,
students,
I'm
think
too
about it.
ambitious.
No, that's a lie, you know? Like, uh,
I,
I always said I talk too fast because I get excited, so I just have to
uh,
learn to slow down
yeah,
sometimes.
Oh
Um,
yeah, that's one of mine
that's a
too.
good answer, I think, for a interview or like
yeah.
knowing how loud to. Well, this is for healthcare. Knowing how loud to speak with certain patients because you
Mhm.
never know how much they can hear.
Yeah, like my dad.
Yeah, I'll probably have to be yelling at him like, Hi.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when I was first doing the interview process, I always felt like authenticity paid off and that I was just going to go in, be myself, be as honest as I possibly can. And for the most part, that worked. But but 18 years later, when I got laid off and had to find another job, it felt more like a game. It felt like, it was like there are all these, you had to, your resume had to be SEO compatible, had to work in, they're going to scan it into a computer. And so it's got to be written in the right way. And then when you go in for the job interview, it's hard to read it was hard to read the room at that time. And I felt like I was just kind of out of touch in terms of, how to get a job. Plus the fact that I was old even then, and like I said, I think once I did have an office job and I just hated it. And it was like, this is not where I want to die. And so it was just kind of taking that step of faith and saying, all right, God, let's take some risks here. And for the most part, it's been tough. We haven't been doing a lot of things that we would have liked to have done. For example, your sister has never been to Disney World.
Oh my gosh. Next time I come, we should do that. We'll call it a content day.
Yeah.
There you go.
I love
That'll be
doing
fun.
that.
Yeah.
That's what we did at Epcot. We basically drank wine and wrote everything off because
we
were making content.
We went live from Epcot. That was a poor choice, but in a good way.
It's a write-off. It
was so fun. We had so much fun, though. I love Epcot.
Oh man.
Yeah. So
I know. That was something that never was available of these live streams on site.
God, it confused me when I got into this world. Like people watch people exist.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's wild.
Right? Like people sleep on stream and they watch that and donate money. What? Which I mean, it's pretty cool coming from like an entertainment perspective with the whole live comedy what did you call it again? Improv.
Yeah.
To doing film reviews. So it's like you knew maybe so far in your future you're gonna do something in this.
Mm-hmm.
And it ended up happening
Yeah.
after something devastating, I'm sure, but it worked out in the end, and I'm glad it did.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Well, I mean, not to get too religious on you here, but I've always believed, I've learned long ago that your life is in God's hands, and as much as you try to force things, God ultimately has some purpose, and like Moses in the desert, you have no idea how long you have to wait for that. And I mean, weirdly, we had our award show, where we award the best in independent film, truly independent film, meaning very low budget, very low resources. And this is, when I first got on board with Film Threat and getting to know Chris, we had the same goals. I've had the same goal as a film critic as I had with Chris's vision for Film Threat, and that was to be the champion for independent films. And we spent all these weeks just kind of going through all the reviews, picking what we thought were the best ones, and then giving them awards. And then this night, you actually meet the people you're honoring, and just to hear story after story of Film Threat is that they love us, just the fact that we understand what they're in, the how difficult it is creating an independent film, the love and passion people have for creating independent films. And and last on Sunday, it was just kind of that culmination of, I think this is why I'm here at Film Threat at this time. And and just to encourage people to move on with their dreams, move forward with their dreams, and not worry about Hollywood or not care for Hollywood at all, and just tell your stories.
Yeah. So how do you hi Tugs. She's on hotel internet, so it was bound to go at some point.
Yeah, it was gonna happen at some point.
How do you impart all this knowledge that you just kind of talked about, just your life from adulthood on? to your daughter and the
Mhm.
lessons that you've learned to hopefully help her when she goes and does all the job stuff?
Yeah, uh, it's to me, it's always been about being the example. I could tell her. I mean, I do tell her a lot of things. I tell her, I tell her how to act and what to do. But but I found by living it, the lessons come in better. Like the biggest one is I don't swear a whole lot, very little
I've
if at
never heard you
all.
swear.
Yeah, and it's not, you know, and the thing I do the way I contextualize this with parenting is that if you ask her, she'll tell you I don't swear. I don't swear very much, and I've told her for a very long time is the reason I don't swear is because it's not because I'm against these words, but when I actually use those words, it means something, and that's why that's the example that I try to set for her. I know I failed because I've caught her on several occasions
What?
with her friends. It's like, do you really speak that way to your friends?
Oh no. But
Uh,
you never know, because like if you have friends that swear a lot, you tend to mimic them.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
I read
yeah, and
somewhere,
I'm pretty sure that's what's happening. That's
yeah, you are a culmination of your 6 closest influences or friends,
yeah,
or family members. So if they swear a lot,
yeah. Well, and the bigger lesson is, that I tell her is words mean something.
they
When you say
do.
something, when you make a promise, when you use certain words in certain ways, it means something. So that if she ever hears me swear, um, she knows you know, I'm down to business right now.
Mm. I
It's
don't see you being like a very emotionally aggressive parent, like reactive, is what I'm trying to say.
yeah,
You seem so like down to earth and cool, so I
yeah.
cannot imagine what that is like.
I know, because I mean I've been there. Like in long ago, I was in seminary, and the goal was to be a youth pastor, and so I'd worked with a lot of youth in my time, and I've certainly been an angsty youth as well, and so I've been there. I know what they're going through. I know what's going on in their heads, uh, and so I have a little bit of empathy for my kid.
You weren't a goth kid, were you?
No,
Not that type of angst.
well, yeah. No, I mean, like you talk about what's your weakness. Mine is I'm an introvert to the core. I'm very
I wouldn't guess
quiet, and
that.
yeah, I'm very comfortable around people I know, but when it
Mm.
comes to like situations where I don't know anybody, it's like I'm in the background. And
Rather observe than anything. I can understand that
yeah.
though. I feel the same. You don't want to be that person saying the weird stuff.
Hmm.
So I
Yeah.
get that. I get that.
Yeah. And so
Uh,
that's one thing about having my daughter as my wing person at these events, because we
she's
kind of
sassy. Oh my god.
yeah, because I don't think I would have. It's like going after Margot and Ryan was like it was tough. We had to get aggressive to get their attention, and I don't think I would have done it had I been alone.
Oh,
Yeah,
like I feel like Anna probably and Dante were the ones that were like, all right, we're going in.
yeah. Well, they experienced it too. It was tough. I mean, there were a lot of people there. They were getting crowded, and in fact, when Anna and Dante got to Margot, I leaned over to Dante and said, "Get Audrey in there right afterwards."
Yeah, yeah. If I was him, I would have done the same thing
Yeah.
because at least she's a little human being. Just
Yeah.
push her right up there.
Well, and also, yeah, it's like that's the other end is like, it's my kid. It's my
I
it's
know
my
it's my
little
kid. It's
kid.
not about me. It's my kid.
Mhm.
And I would
Yeah.
I would if a kid meeting their hero, it means so much more to them at that young age
Yeah.
to meet a hero than for me an actor actress like that doesn't matter to me as much, which
Yeah.
it sucks because I loved the idea of being like, oh my god, my hero was like Britney Spears, she was so
Yeah.
cool.
Well, what's cool is, you remember Anna was in a Star Trek uniform, and she was like self-conscious about it. I go, no, this is perfect for you. You
You
go
will
there, you're gonna
stand
get
out.
noticed. And
You will stand out
Margot
so
was like Margot is way into her costume.
Oh, really? I mean, she
Yeah.
did the whole like.
Yeah. Whole Vulcan salute.
Which is
Margot's
really
a
cute.
secret Trekkie. Confirmed.
I
Yeah,
have no
Margot's a
idea.
nerd. That's what we
She is. She is really. If you watch her interviews, like she lets it slip. Not every now and then. Now it's a little bit more, but she lets it slip, and you're like, okay, all right, I'm here for it.
Oh my gosh. So, have you imparted your nerddom to your daughter?
Yeah, yes and no. There are aspects of my nerddom that has passed on, but I think like she could care less about Star Trek. I'm Star Trek and Star Wars. I think we share a common bond with Disney. When Disney the Muppets came out, she latched on to the Muppets, which was great. But she's into a lot of stuff that I'm just not into, like the whole My Little Pony phase. I was just that's your thing. She's seen every episode.
Understandable.
Yeah,
I loved
she
My
tried
Little
to.
Pony when I was a kid. I don't know if it's the same, but it was awesome.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I mean, as a kid, that's a great thing. What bothers me are those adult males.
yeah.
Oh God.
What are they called again?
Oh, bronies.
Bronies.
Bronies. Thank you.
Yeah, honestly, there was a documentary that came out about bronies, and that's how I
What?
got introduced to My Little Pony, and it was like
It's just
that was like
starving.
a good conversation I had with my daughter at that point.
Oh
You're
my God,
like,
what did you say
stay
about the
away from these
bronies?
guys.
Or what did you say about the bronies? Or she
Oh
know
my
about
gosh, they were that documentary was eye opening. But
it?
it was just like, well, she doesn't. I'm never going to take her to a My Little Pony convention. And, so
I
that's
wouldn't.
what
I wouldn't take. No, I wouldn't even go to.
No kids there. No,
those
you
people
hold
are
on to
some-
that child real close
I
around
know.
those.
Yeah.
Oh God.
But I mean,
Tracking device.
she's found her things. Like the biggest thing for her now is Percy Jackson. I mean, she's been reading the books for years, but she is excited about the Disney television series.
No,
And
I think
so-
it'll be good for her.
Yeah, and I keep warning. She knows. I keep warning her. Disney will screw it up. It'll make you hate this. But
Does she read a lot, or is she just getting into books now?
she's been reading it. She's been into Percy Jackson for at least four years. So she's read all the books. She hated the movies, and she's excited about this one because the author is involved.
Oh, good. Hopefully that will help.
I hope so. It sounds
Yeah.
like she knows more about like the happenings behind the film more than most people.
Yeah.
Which
I feel that way about Harry Potter.
Yeah. Oh, she's into Harry Potter too.
I'm excited for the TV show. I hope J.K. Rowling can save it.
I hope so
Okay.
too, honestly. If it sucks in the end, I'll be really, 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 really,
Yeah.
really sad. So
I'll be sad.
I mean, the bright side is that JK is, she has creative control over it.
Yes, and thank goodness. Maybe we'll actually get some accuracy. Maybe we'll get Peeves. That'd be nice. And an accurate, you know what? This is not the live stream for a rant, but it's fine. We talk about it all day.
you got two big movie buffs here. So
Yeah.
I think,
Well, I'll just say if Disney screws up Percy Jackson, I'll never hear the end of it.
Oh yeah.
Oh no. Sounds
Fingers
like
crossed.
the next generation has caught on to how bad the movies are. Just based on her, because I don't talk to any preteen teenagers. So
Yeah, I mean, I remember, the Marvels when that came out, and my review. I saw got an early review of it, and got a lot of internet hate for it, and I just went to I don't, I just talk matter of factly about these things with my daughter. I don't try to influence. I don't try to. She doesn't watch FNT, so she doesn't know the
Thank
criticisms
God.
that go on. Yeah. And I just asked her, are you or your friends going to see the Marvels? And she said, no. We saw the trailers. It looked like it sucked, and so they didn't see it. The same thing with Wish. I mean, weirdly, she and all her friends went to see Trolls instead of Wish.
Oh, the power of NSYNC.
wow.
30 years later.
But I mean that's what appeals to teens nowadays, especially preteens.
That's
Preteens,
crazy to me.
they like cute boys.
And sparkly things.
And
Oh yeah, and
sparkly
the trolls
things.
are definitely sparkly. That is.
Wait,
for
was she a
sure.
big fan of Barbie then? Like
No,
they wanted to go see it?
no, it's funny because so my wife, back in the day, she was actually she was actually a Barbie in terms of she was hired by Mattel to go out and do events.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's
Yeah,
cool.
no. Hey, I married.
You married a Barbie.
Yeah.
Alan's like, I bagged the hottest woman ever.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Right.
Holy cow.
That's right. And so I took them to see it, and both of them hated it. They hated the movie. I know. My kid was just not into it.
No.
To be fair, I've said that there should have been more dance sequences, and it would have made the movie better, in my opinion. It would have saved it because then at least
really would have, honestly.
Like, The Greatest Showman.
Mm-hmm.
Not a great movie in my opinion, but because of the dances and the songs, made it a great movie.
Yeah, my kid's the same way. There are certain soundtracks we listen to over and over again, and Greatest Showman is one of them.
Is one
I love
great
that.
Frozen and Encanto are the other two.
Oh my God.
Don't talk about Bruno. I've never even seen the movie, but I know that song. It's everywhere. Honestly, Barbie would have been a lot better if they had just stuck with stupid girl stuff. And I don't mean like super stupid, we want to run the world girl stuff. I just mean stupid girl stuff. It had such a good plot. We have to go save the girl that's playing with the Barbie because she's growing up and becoming. That was such a great plot.
Yeah.
And then it went that way. And I was like, why?
Yeah.
And now $1 billion later.
I know. Although I will say it was beautiful. And Margot Robbie was great. Ryan Gosling stole the show, in my personal opinion. And the marketing campaign, I have not seen a marketing campaign that worked that well and was that successful. Just off the cuff, because it was so random since, and this is going to be a hot take, but since the Blair Witch Project, when we all thought it was a real documentary and these poor teens actually died in the woods. And we'll stand by that because the Barbie marketing was kudos. Every other movie should really think about that going forward because there's that was where all their money came from. I mean, before the movie came out, they have so much money just because of all the Barbie stuff. And I'm like, I fell into it too. Like, please, sparkles pink, yes, sign me up.
Yeah. And that was the same thing with the Marvels and Wish. The trailers were so bad. I mean, my biggest thing was always that you never got a sense of what the story was watching those.
No, what is the Marvels about?
The Marvels, good question.
I have no idea.
Girl power.
Yeah, something. I mean, there's a bad lady villain.
It's like fixing a mistake that you made 30 years ago.
Yeah,
and the repercussions of it.
Yeah, which if they had actually told that story, it would have been a much better movie.
Yeah. It should have been the forefront, but it's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Like Captain Marvel almost destroyed a planet, and now she's on the run by the people who lived on that planet, and now she has to get her friends to restore things back and to clear her name. I mean, that's a much better story than what we got.
That's a really good plot, actually.
Yeah, it was like a subplot to the plot.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah. So, unfortunately. So it's interesting to see how the next generation, at least in the teen years, are just not caring about this sort of stuff when you have such a huge passion for it. And I guess does she care about like indie stuff or not really?
You know, I'll say that there's an evolution going on. So, you know, there were times where I'll say this. This year, her palette has broadened. Than years. Like I've taken her to some movies. You know, it's like, you know, with my job comes, you know, this is award season and we get invited to screenings with the stars, and there's sometimes food involved, and if there's food involved, she's likely to go. And,
oh my God, I me too.
Yeah, and she has seen movies that she probably would never have seen, and these movies become like her top favorites of the year.
Interesting.
Yeah. Like American Fiction. I just took her to it, and she's like, "This is a great movie." And then I took her to see Naiad, which is on Netflix right now, about the swimmer Diana Naiad.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Yeah, and we were to a screening of that. Knew nothing about it. They actually talked about her in one of her classes at school. And she saw the movie, saw what an incredible woman she was, and then we're in the front row of the screening, and then there's Diana Naiad sitting right in front of us doing a Q&A,
and you're like,
yeah, and she's like, she'd never heard of her like 2 hours beforehand, and now she's like starstruck, And
Oh my gosh.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love
That's
that.
the impact of a good movie, though.
Yeah.
On anybody. So, and
Mhm.
especially a teenager.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then
So,
she's also into romances now. And I know, and I took her to see a movie called Fingernails, which is about in the future, if to prove that you're compatible, they built this machine. And this machine, what you do is you rip one of your fingernails out. And I know. And you put it with the other fingernail of your partner and in the machine, and then the machine will tell you if you're 100% compatible.
oh my
And,
That's not
god.
a romance.
This is
That's a horror movie.
this sounds like Gattaca, but with fingernails.
Yeah.
Remember that first scene when they're like going to get their genetics tested or whatever? They're like, how good is your genes? And they only
Is
date
that a
based on
romance
that.
movie? I was thinking like rom-coms. That is a torture. I think
That
I
is
saw that.
I know. It was
Ripping your
tough- it was
fingernails.
tough to
Can't
watch.
they just cut it?
They yank, a quick yank. And,
You know what? If they implemented that in today's dating standard, like people wouldn't be dating as much.
yeah. Yeah.
How
I mean,
many
it was,
nails?
it's kind of the point of the movie is, what we would, the ability to analyze scientifically whether people are in love or not, and what, okay, I think the ultimate message of the movie is, people want shortcuts when it comes to love. They just want, if it means ripping out your fingernail and finding out, that's great. But, you realize that love is work.
Complicated.
You've got to work at it constantly. And, and that this idea of compatibility, it's not something 100%, and it's something you got to grow and build.
I want to build on that, but I just want to read these quickly first.
Okay.
Psychotic Mongoose has gifted 1 Poor Choices membership. Welcome to the lush level. I don't even know who got that, but it was Abe. Welcome, Abe. Thank you, Psychotic Mongoose.
Yay,
And
Abe.
So Forth has donated 50 British pounds and says, yes, I'm on board with Tugs's rope-a-dope marketing.
I'm telling you, Barbie has succeeded in that where nothing has succeeded before. And that's a franchise that had an audience, right? So, and they did more in marketing, Star Wars aside originally, than even like the Avengers. I think if you put the numbers side by side, just in such a short period of time, and hello.
Yeah, I would have loved to go to the Barbie Airbnb.
Right? I wanted to win that.
Where is that?
I entered that giveaway.
Yeah, I don't know, because there was like they were saying it's like free to go there. You just have to be able to get onto the booking
list. Yeah, they did like a giveaway for it. I entered, did not win. Me and like a bazillion other people. So kudos to the winner.
I always wonder if there's actually a winner, or are they just doing this to say?
I don't know.
You never know, right?
That's fair.
So yes, okay. So you mentioned love is work. It's never easy. Let's go back to young Alan dating, finding a mate. What was that like for you? Did you date with intention? Draw from other experiences, or how did you find
You played the field.
Well, let's go back to the intense extrovert, the extreme extrovert. So not a lot of dating early on in my life. And quite frankly, I went to seminary, and to me, seminary was basically my therapy, my lifelong therapy, because I learned a lot about myself. Weirdly, it's not just about reading the Bible and studying the Bible, but a lot of the time it was about, I was learning Christian education. So it was about learning about people, about adolescence, and about myself. And that's ultimately what happened, was just kind of coming to a lot of revelations about myself, and, and really getting a grip of who I wanted to be and what I wanted to be when I grew up. And this was like my mid-20s. And coming out of seminary is like, I think that was the point which I became a true adult in life. And when dating became, I think it was like, dating was fun, but I am looking for a mate at that point. and just getting to the point of not being so desperate to get married, but trying to truly find the right one, the right person. And so it was at that point I realized that I had the confidence to go and ask people out on dates, to go on dates. And then at the end to figure out, well, is this going to work or not? Or should I bother going on? And just being able to kind of go through that and feel, really feel like I was mature enough to make an adult decision at that point. And then ultimately met my wife and then got married.
That's really cool. We had a conversation with Odin, which will be airing in a couple weeks, but he had mentioned stuff about faith as well. And I can see why people are very attracted to, having a religion and putting yourself there, because you do find out a lot about yourself, and it's like a guidebook almost to life. And I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I look at it differently than most people do in terms of the Bible. The thing that I learned, my approach and philosophy to Christianity is basically, I'm here on earth to be as much of a representation of Jesus Christ as I possibly can. And so I tend to veer away from this idea that I need to judge everybody all the time. I think my goal is to be that living example of who Jesus is. And, while I have a lot of friends who, this is kind of where the conflict between me and the church has come in, but it's like, I don't talk hell, and I don't talk about, burning forever. And I don't talk about, how you're falling short. I talk as someone who's been there, who's been a broken person. And to say that, look, we're not perfect. God doesn't expect us to be perfect, but God has given us the tools to not only have a relationship with Him, but to also live a holy life that live a fulfilling and meaningful life as well. On top of that,
it sounds like you're a very glass half full type of person. Because I mean, you're that stuff with the hell and whatnot, it's always there and people are aware of it. But I think the thing that I always had a problem with it, when people talk about, I have to do this because I'll go to hell if I don't. The idea that you're living in fear like that, and that's your motivation to do good, it doesn't feel like it's authentic.
Yeah. No, that's exactly it. I think what Jesus' death has proved is that you can't live a perfect life. The entire Old Testament is about trying to prove yourself by what you do. And it's proof that you can't do it. It is 100% impossible to live a perfect life. And that's the whole point of Jesus' death, is to say, look, you're not perfect. I'm going to be your sacrifice to allow you to have that relationship with God. And at the same time, everything I did on earth is set for you as an example of how to treat others. And that's why I tend to live a life more of empathy. I tend to be more forgiving of people. I tend to be more accepting of people. I tend to be more compassionate about the situation people are in. Look, Gary is a great example of a guy who went through the worst of it and came out on top. And that's the story everyone can have.
Yep. It's crazy how you think about Gary, and I definitely wouldn't have associated with someone back in his day, during all the stuff of all that, because that would freak me out. But now seeing someone literally go from, jail to where he is now in his life, successful. I've met his kids and they seem awesome, and wife, and that is a feat. Because I mean, what if he didn't get better? What would life have been? And,
what if he had no hope?
I mean, we see that in LA.
And then what got me in trouble with the church was I took that to the next step, and I started meeting, gaining gay friends. And I'm an evangelical. I'll admit that. And the relationship between the evangelicals and the LGBT community is very bad. And around the time of Proposition 8, I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but it was basically at one point the state of California had legalized gay marriage,
Mhm.
and the people of California put an initiative on the ballot saying marriage is between a man and a woman, and was going to overturn basically what the state of California had done. And it was at that point I realized, it was, I basically came out against it and said, from the friends I had who are gay, this idea that they're evil, this idea that they're doing something wrong, that by their mere lifestyle they're going to go straight to hell, just felt wrong in terms of everything I know about Jesus. The idea for me of Jesus was, he would go into West Hollywood and he would hang out with the gay community, and he would be a light to them, and he would be he would be someone that they would look up to because he loved them. He would show them love, and that's kind of how I felt. And so I came out against it, and that's kind of where, me and the the vocal majority of the church were at odds, and it was just like, and I have friends who were the same way, who stood up for the gay community, and they lost their jobs as pastors, as in ministry, and I think in the end, I think we still believe. I definitely believe that we're on the right side of morality here, right side of God here.
That's very interesting, because at least I remember in Salem, Tugs, you remember, a lot of the churches had like the pride flags on it. I don't know which churches they were. So.
Oh yeah, they've flipped that switch real quick, because all of a sudden everybody turned against their. At the end of the day, in my personal opinion, it is what it is. You can support it or not. I don't think that we need to go around like at people, and either they'll go to the pearly gates and they will be accepted, or they won't.
Yeah.
That's not my place, right? My place is to pray and hope that they follow Jesus. And at the end of the day, Jesus knows them, because that will be up to people. Argue, well, the Bible's black and white, and that may be true, but we won't know until we get there. You know what I mean? We just don't know. The black and white wrathful God was a long time ago, and he stopped that with the flood. That's where the rainbow comes from. We all know this. So it's just like, I don't have to tolerate the sin. I can pray for the sinner, whether that makes them black and white, evil, not evil. I don't think gay people are evil. Is it mentioned it specifically in the Bible? Yes, it does. Does that mean that they're automatically going to hell? Possibly. It also may mean that they're not. I don't know. Not my place. My place is to love and hope that people follow Jesus at the end of the day, and that he knows them. That's my point.
A great way to put that.
I'm not going to go pitchforks and torches down the street, hunting people down, even if I don't agree with the lifestyle all the time. You know what I mean? So that's
I mean, because my understanding is that God created everybody, that everyone is a child of God. If you're a human being, you're a child of God, and that ultimately God wants you in relationship with him. And and so we could call out a whole bunch of sins that are not homosexuality that people are committing, and God will still accept you. And quite frankly, the way I always say it to my evangelical friends is, me changing them is not my job. It's God's job, and if they're in a real relationship with God, he will deal with it the way he will. And I would, I certainly wrestle with, can you be a homosexual and be a Christian? And I think there's, this is a whole other podcast, and and it's not as easy as a yes or a no. And and again, I could call out a whole bunch of other sins that people are committing that are not as public as being gay, that Christians struggle with, and the questions are the same for them as it is for gays and lesbians.
Yeah, that just seems like a hot topic, at least in the last 20 or so years.
Yeah, and it still is. Yeah.
Yes, and it still is, which, I mean, we won't get into that part, but yeah, I like to err on the side of, let's just be nice. They can do what they will. That's up to them. And then
that's why God gave us free will, and that's the free will to do things that are not good. And get the consequences,
And that's just called a test, I feel like. Whether, you always have a choice. It's up to you. And You know, hopefully you make one that makes you happy in the long term. Short term happiness is very fleeting.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And the other thing is, I don't want to be that person who walks into a room and has to call out everybody's sin.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because A, you're not gonna make a lot of friends, and B, I don't think people are seeing God in that. I don't think Jesus
Yeah.
ever went into the only time Jesus ever got angry and called people out was when it was against the religious leaders, the people
Yeah.
who should
The
have known.
tables.
Yeah.
Love
Yeah.
that story.
In fact,
I'm
in
gonna
fact,
ask about
right
that
now.
later.
what I
I
learned in
wanna-
seminary was every time Jesus talked about false prophets, he was always referring to legalism.
Yep.
People who made rules, told sinners the rules to meet God. Those are the people that God went after.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. Dang,
That's
I'm
one of the
learning
best stories
a
in the
little bit
Bible.
today. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to talk more about this because I want to hear about that. What was it? Legalism
Legalism,
story?
yeah.
Yeah, want to hear
Yeah.
about
It's
that.
that whole idea of a set of rules that puts you in good standing with God. And
Mhm.
the whole point of Jesus dying was to remove all those rules.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh my goodness. So we have Ian so forth with 10 gifted core
Hey.
choices memberships. More green in the chat. Thank you so much, Ian. Cheers. I love that. And we also have Eric Stratton for 777. Ooh, that's a
That's
a
so
good number,
specific.
right?
Hey.
That's a
Lucky
heavenly
numbers.
number,
The Bible
right?
number.
Right. I think. If you want to get a cool and eerie feeling, watch the last 30 minutes of Jay's Saturday live stream. He talks about his faith journey in a very similar way. Ooh,
Oh, interesting.
might have to get Jay to come on to one of these like dadcasts. I
Yeah.
actually, it's very interesting. This whole YouTube space. I have talked more about religion in the last couple of years than I ever have in my life, and I'm not religious. Maybe you could say I'm Buddhist, but I try to just live a very happy moral life and try to live within the rules of legal and making other people happy as long as it's in the legal limits. And the more I hear about religion, the more I see why it's so appealing to
Mhm.
people. And who knows what'll happen?
Yeah.
Who knows?
I mean,
So
I'll say the one thing that one of the big reasons I'm a Christian is it's the one religion that compels you to love. You know, that
That's facts.
because it forces you out of your comfort zone and it puts the person who's standing in front of you and forces you to elevate them above yourself.
mhm.
You know, and that's not something we do naturally as human beings.
No, we're naturally selfish,
Mhm.
and I feel like that has been heightened with my generation,
Yeah.
the millennials, and it really it's gotten progressively worse and worse with each generation onwards, and
Yeah.
it sucks, but you are just one small person in the world. Why should your thoughts, feelings matter over millions? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, I always think that wokeism forces you to wallow in your weaknesses, while Christianity forces you to rise above it.
Mm.
And I don't hear that message a lot from.
That's a great way of putting that because you're so right.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I think that's why I think my perspective tends to be, rosier, more optimistic, because I think
like
people,
it though.
yeah,
Positive based, and I mean, I don't know what types of conversations you have with your daughter, but I can't imagine as a kid hearing a negative perspective a lot, and then you just I wouldn't be as interested just based on what I know of myself when I was younger. Maybe a kid would be more interested with a more positive aspect in that religion. How you talk about it.
mhm,
I mean, I've never been to church, so I don't know how that goes.
yeah, yeah. I mean, my church experience early on, it was when I was a kid, it was the legalism church. It was,
Mm.
I had to dress a certain way, had to pray a certain way, had to do certain ways,
Yep.
do certain things certain ways.
Yep.
And I knew go into high school that once I graduated from high school and I was gone, I was going to leave the church, and God got a hold of me just in time and
Mhm.
turned it all around.
That's awesome to hear.
Love it.
I'm gonna just say this. I realized what I said. Ian so forth for 25 British pounds, making people happy within legal limits. We heard it, X-Ray. We all heard it. Yeah, I know. I made a mistake on that one. Whatever. Thank you, Ian.
No coppers at X-ray girl door. Everything is legal.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, no.
So, with all these parties your daughter is going to and the movie previews and whatnot, how do you feel like you're going to keep her kind of grounded within like how normal people are and this is like an extra special thing? Like, how do you impart that to her?
Yeah, I mean, I think she's pretty grounded. I mean, she's she's not. I'm not covering anything up here. She understands exactly where I stand in the Hollywood community and and how much value and worth they have in me.
And how much they're nuts.
Yeah. And so she takes it for what it is. It's just an opportunity and an experience that she wouldn't get otherwise. And like I think I think I told you, but she's adopted. We adopted her from Korea. And my dad asked me literally 2 months ago, does she know she's adopted? And I'm like, well, she's seen her mom, right? And and it was right from the get-go, we knew she needed to know she was adopted and that we chose her.
Oh my gosh, that's one of those things. I can't imagine if you at least if your adopted child looked somewhat of your parentage. How does one have a conversation about that? Yeah. Do they do it right away? Do they do it later? Because I mean, has she been
kid?
Yeah, has she been interested in her parents or like her biological parents?
Off and on. Sometimes she does, sometimes she doesn't. I mean, she can't legally find out until she's 18.
Oh,
and then it's up to her mother to say whether she wants to meet her or not.
Is that like rules in Korea?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
interesting.
And I've seen documentaries about this exact same subject, and from the impression I get is that mothers are more likely to not want to meet their child.
I can see that. It's harder for women,
Yeah. And so, she's asked, and I'm like, and I told her basically that, you can't find out until you're 18, and then you have to go over there. And you just have to be prepared to, to expect that she may not want to see you. Yeah,
that's heartbreaking. I think for any kid. And dang, wouldn't want to be in her shoes when that moment happens. I hope mom wants to meet her.
Yeah,
I hope so too.
That is tricky,
and I hope that it works out if she does. It's not something that's going to be a bad situation.
Yeah. And as parents, it's like, why would I prohibit her from wanting that?
Of course.
There just seems to be no upside to that.
Yeah, it's just a natural curiosity. And I mean, how old was she when you adopted her?
8 months.
8 months.
So yeah, she was a baby. Yeah, that was a crazy
airport baby you, and you're like, okay, what do I do?
Yeah. Well, what was funny was so she comes. They brought her to LAX, and that's where we met her, and took her home, and then soon realized that she's on Korean time. So so we got her in the morning. She gets in the car and she just sleeps all the way through until about 9 o'clock at night.
You're like, yes, best baby ever.
Now she's wide awake, and I have to stay up with her. I'm fairly ill-equipped at this point. There was a piano. We bought a toy piano for Fisher Price, and she was just playing on it, and we were just doing things. Fortunately, we got along great right off the bat.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, and then she was up until 6 a.m, and I was up with her until 6 a.m.
Oh man!
And now my sleep schedule is all screwed up. And then she sleeps all the way till about 6 in the evening, and then now I'm up again with her for another night, and then for another night, and so for 3 nights I'm getting very low sleep. And my wife's white, and so we whenever she would be alone with my wife, she'd just start screaming
Oh my
bloody
God.
murder. And my wife would, and the third night I was like, you gotta take care. I need some sleep. And then an hour later she was like, I can't do this. You need to take care of it.
Oh no.
Yeah. And then finally I got so sick that I couldn't, I was ill because of the lack of sleep.
Oh
And
no.
the two of them just had to work it out.
You will like me, child.
I know. And it
Like,
took
who
her,
is this
it took her a
pasty
full day
person?
to just accept the fact that
Oh, that's true. She's probably never seen a white person.
yeah,
Really.
that's what we're thinking.
That would
Yeah.
make.
Oh
I
my
mean, that
God.
makes sense. You
Yeah.
know, she's like,
Mhm.
what?
Yeah, because she, with all my white friends coming over, she just would not let them hold her.
Her eyes
And,
are like
Wow.
big.
Wow. She's literally that all these white people all around. They're
That's
scary.
hilarious.
Yeah,
So that's
so
a good thing. Anyone adopting from a different country, just get ready for
Mhm.
a really horrible sleep schedule. How long did that take to normalize?
oh, it took like I think 4 to 5 days to finally.
Okay, that's
Oh,
not
well, thank
bad.
goodness it wasn't like months.
Because
Jesus.
it could have been like
Oh,
they say that 1 hour per or sorry, it's 1 day per time zone.
uh-huh.
And I mean Korea is like what, 9 or 10 hour
Yeah, I
difference.
think
At
so.
least, yeah.
I mean, it's also the sun, the circadian rhythm. The
That's
body
true.
just kind of adjusts over time. So
I'm so
it'll
glad for you
eventually happen.
guys.
Obviously.
That would be very difficult, but that's insane. And the process for you adopting, how long that take?
Oh, that's another adventure. It took a couple years. The original intent was because I'm Chinese that we were gonna adopt a Chinese
Okay.
girl, and again, this was back when there's still a lot of girls in China in adoption in orphanages, and so we were on the list, but the problem was that when we were getting close, the Beijing Olympics occurred, and the government shut down for the Olympics. And so no adoptions were being processed throughout the months before the Olympics and the months
That
after the
sucks.
Olympics. And our adoption agency said, hey, I know you guys are waiting, but if you're willing to take a girl from Korea who has a birth defect, we can get you set up really fast. And we decided, okay, let's do it. And probably in 3 months, that's when we got my daughter.
Oh my
And
goodness.
yeah, and weirdly, the physical ailment, she had a hole in her heart.
Oh, that's it.
Oh, that happens sometimes.
Yeah.
So you got surgery and it's closed now, right?
Well,
You're like birth defect. Oh God.
Yeah.
What would that be?
Like I met
So
her,
we-
so I
yeah, so we took her to the doctor, and it's like, well, okay, the records say she has a hole in her head, and he's like, I don't notice anything. And then we got.
So she didn't actually?
She didn't actually have it, or she
Are you
maybe
guys-
she didn't. It healed itself.
Are you
I-
sure
I've
you
heard
have the
that.
right baby that was
Yeah.
supposed to be
I know.
yours?
But the adoption of boys and girls are exact opposite from Korea to China. China, there are plenty of girls. In Korea, there are plenty of boys. So it's very rare that you get a
Interesting.
girl out of Korea.
That's
Well,
interesting. I didn't know
I mean,
that.
I know why there's a lot of girls for adoption in China,
Yeah,
but I wonder why it's the opposite for Korea.
I
That's
think.
so interesting.
Yeah, I was explained to me one time, and I can't remember it now.
Oh, that's so good. I feel like I'm learning a lot, and hopefully, chat, you guys are enjoying this conversation because you don't meet a lot of people who've adopted or like I guess talk about adoption,
Mhm.
and it's very heartbreaking the process that gets you to adoption, and then waiting, money,
Yeah.
waiting, more money. Because
Yeah, I mean, we tried right after marriage to get pregnant, and my wife was, severe endometriosis, and so after a lot of therapy or a lot of hormone therapy and all that stuff, it was like it's not going to happen, and it was just like, again, back in those days, there was a big need in China to adopt girls, and that's the route we went. Yeah, in fact, we inspired some friends of mine to do the exact same thing,
Aw.
and they adopted too.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I feel like there's a lot of families these days when they have adopted, it's usually an Asian child. Whereas like in the 90s and early 2000s when I was growing up, it was
Yeah.
like the thing to adopt an African kid.
Yeah.
Don't know
Oh, yeah.
why.
Well, yeah, Russia was the same way. The
Yeah.
Balkan states and
African kids.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
man.
I had a few friends that had younger siblings that were from Nigeria. I'm just trying to think the other countries.
Haiti was a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Haiti
think
was a big
it's
one.
cool, like if you want to open up your family to go to even within your country and adopt a child. The thing I want to do if I like really can't have kids is like adopt an older child, but I know that comes with a lot of
Ooh,
problems.
that's a
Oh, yeah.
lot.
Possibly.
But
Possibly.
at the same time,
Someone needs
they need
to.
families too.
Yes, they
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
That's a
But
hard one. Older kids that's a hard one.
if
Yeah.
I didn't have an at-home office, I would maybe consider it just not consider it just, things to steal. You never
Yeah.
know.
Well,
I've heard of these stories. That's why.
It's true.
Well,
No, it's true.
when my daughter was getting older, I had all my action figures in boxes, and then she
Did she
just
open
stare at them, and I'm like, "You want to play with it, don't you?" And it was like, "Yeah." And I like pulled it down and opened it because I realized, what am I going to sell this? I mean,
No, eventually nobody's gonna want it. It's so wild.
Every adult man that has action figures in boxes just cried.
I know. Like we have some Funkos over here that we're like, do we? Some of them are out of boxes, some of them aren't, and it's like, do we open them or not? And like we're about to put up our Muppets Christmas Carol Funkos, and it's like, do we take them out of the box or do we just put them in scene together?
I think depending on the item, like Gary has said, like if he needed to, he could sell a comic and be very okay because of the rarity. I don't know what a Funko Pop rarity and reselling value would be.
Yeah,
I
would doubt if Funkos, if you're if there are $100 Funkos out there or $500.
There's not many of them. It's the ones that are like the limited editions and they're signed and they're they're very hard because I just moved. So I went through all of my stuff and was like, I wonder if I can get any cash from this. And I ended up just bringing it to an old record store we had in Vegas and they'd give you cash for stuff and it wasn't much. But, my mom, and this is such a niche example, but my mom, her favorite movie is Gone with the Wind. And I had this trunk that she never took with her. And I was like, well, I'll keep it just in case you want it back. And then she was like, well, no, just try and sell everything. And I thought for sure, because not only is this stuff rare, she had the Barbies, they had Rhett and Scarlet Barbies that were in the box, pristine condition from the 80s, plates like the Norman Rockwell type plates that everybody loved. Nobody wanted it. Not one single person wanted it. Mm-mm.
Yeah, my comic book collection is that way too. I tried. It's like, no, we don't want those.
No. I was like, I'm calling antique stores. I'm calling like collector stores. We don't have very many in Vegas. I'm sure LA probably would have been a better option if I had lived there. But the little, and then they're like, nope, don't want it. And like,
interesting.
And she
I
had
take it back. I had all the first series Star Wars action figures. I had the first 2 editions of the Star Wars bubblegum cards.
Oh my god,
the complete set. But mind you, I was 10 years old when I had them. So they were well played with. In fact, they lived in my backyard for a very long time.
Oh wow. So it sounds like depending on the item, it won't appreciate in value, is what I'm hearing.
A lot of that stuff doesn't. It really just doesn't.
My philosophy is I don't have the energy or time to sell these things, so they're toys, and they're going to be treated as toys.
Okay. Well, I don't keep things in boxes typically, so
all of my Star Wars stuff for the most part is open. I played with it. It was $19.99. I was like 12. Of course, I'm gonna play with that stuff. So
and I never chased after the collectible.
I got what I wanted, and I still do. Like if I see something, and I'm like, oh, that would be a great addition to the collection. I'm like,
like people have the Funko debate, and I'm like, the only reason I buy a Funko is I think it looks cool. I
had a huge Funko collection, got rid of a lot of it, and now I just keep one. I just keep ones that I think are kind of cool and unique. Like I have an Ant-Man Funko that came with a teeny tiny Ant-Man Funko. It's like the only one that's ever made. It was this special edition in this box or whatever, and he's this big, and I love it because it's just like this weird,
That's
is that a
cute.
tiny Funko? And you're like, yeah, it is.
Oh,
This big.
It looks like the size of the little Lego men almost.
Yeah. I think he's even smaller, actually. I know I have to put him side by side, but yeah. So that one, like I have that one. I have, like a Stan Lee one that's signed or whatever, and things like that. Just little. I think I got my collection out of what, like 5 or 6 of them, maybe. So, yeah.
Very, very, very cool. We have Doc Savage for $5 says, I hear what you guys are saying. I do. But if only you knew the power of the dark side. LOL. Just kidding, guys.
Yes.
I think you're talking about when we were talking about was this the religious stuff?
Yeah. Oh, I know the power of the dark side.
I mean, the stuff with the demons and the exorcism stuff, that stuff freaks me out with the church. And I've heard recordings, and you think, what's the likeliness of that happening, where a girl or young adult knows these other languages and can talk like that and move like that? That would be wild to me.
I mean, I'll say this: my limited experience with demons and exorcisms, I will say that 100% of them were scams.
Oh.
And and I used to follow a guy who did that, and I fell into his trap for a long time until I realized that he's a fraud.
That's such a bummer.
Yeah, and I do know, I do have experience with DID, with dissociative identity disorder. And there's a bit of that in it, but most of the time it's rarely religious in nature. It's more of abuse.
There's only been a couple that even the Catholic Church acknowledges. One of them is the exorcism of Emily Rose. And then that movie Stigmata, I can't remember the actual case, but Stigmata is based off of a real, it wasn't necessarily a possession, but it was a situation where she was like getting, and they can't explain what happened. And so it's never been proven to be a scam. So they acknowledge it as something religious in nature. So it's just, there's only been a couple. It's wild to think about. It freaks me out too.
Yeah, from a theological standpoint, the supernatural, the miracles, and the demon possessions, they usually occur where there's a message that comes alongside of it, where God is trying to say something, and one that is effective for the people that message is for. And that's why I think you don't see it in Western culture, because I think God kind of deals with us in a different, more intellectual manner than through these kind of supernatural events. Not to say miracles don't happen, but the idea of a healing crusade, I think is, I think that's a scam.
Very interesting. How did you figure out he was a scam, the guy you were following beforehand?
He got caught up in tax fraud and
okay, that's pretty straightforward. Okay.
Yeah, maybe God's not quite working on your side at the moment. And it was also it did get to the point of where it's like it's a constant money pitch. He needs money.
Those have you been to those motivation speaking things where they try to get you to sign up? That stuff freaks me out a lot because it does scam so many people. The pyramid schemes, it's wild.
Yeah.
And
I mean, they're out there. I mean, we're desperate to, there's a biblical message in here, but we're desperate to speed life up, and money is usually part of that, of feeling secure.
Money is the root of all evil.
Yeah. If I can buy into this, and if I buy more, I'll be higher up based on the amount of money I put in, which is
or
wild.
your faith is related to your bank account.
Yeah. Oh,
and
I don't know about that.
Yeah. And you read most of the gospels and you realize it's the exact opposite. The less you have is probably the more faithful you become, because you are more reliant on God than you are when you can rely on your bank account. Even
studies have shown once you hit a certain amount of money made, and I forgot what the amount is, you just don't get more happy. Money buys happiness up to a certain point, and I think You should always live within your means. Don't go for the extra stuff. Clothes are stupid to buy, by the way, people.
Mhm.
I always I look back at when I was a kid and I buy all
Shop at
these
thrift stores.
yes,
Yeah.
trendy stuff, and it's like, why did I do that? Why? So I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
that I'm imparting my personal wisdom in Dadcast, but
Yeah. I mean, I believe, that God guides our lives, and the reason I mention it is because I've realized that it's pointless for me to buy a lottery ticket, because I know for a fact God will not let me win the lottery. Because I think about it, because what if I did win $100 million? That would fundamentally change my life in a way that I don't know that I would be following the right direction, having that kind
and
of security in my
so
life.
many people
Mhm.
don't they actually end up becoming bankrupt after having that amount
Yeah.
of money. So I
Oh
get
yeah,
it.
I have a friend who his sister won the lottery, and her family started coming after her so much that he has
Oh
not
no.
talked to his sister since then,
Wow,
because
his
she
sister
does
just
not want to
disappeared.
deal with her family.
Oh, the vultures, the
Yeah,
vultures.
exactly.
I would do the same thing. So one of my favorite podcasters that's out there, who's actually very similar to Gary, he said if he wins the lottery, he's changing his phone number. He's only giving it to certain people he
Yeah,
trusts, giving some people some money, and then disappearing.
yeah.
I would do the same thing.
Mhm.
People are very greedy. I would take care of my immediate family and
Yeah,
try to live a very off the grid life. I could actually live off the grid.
absolutely. Yeah, but I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know if you know who MC Hammer is, or
Yes, the pants.
yeah.
Do, 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 do.
But yeah, I mean, it's a lot of these artists from the 80s and 90s who became millionaires. They lived a life beyond the millions that they were earning, and they all went bankrupt because they outspent what they were bringing in.
Mhm. Same thing with athletes.
Hmm.
They're around people who spend absorbent amount of money,
Yeah,
and then they end up spending it all before they finish or within a year or so after they finish working. And you're not
yeah.
supposed to you shouldn't do that because that money should hopefully last you the rest of your life.
Hmm.
Hopefully.
Hopefully,
Hopefully. You got to just put it you reinvest it if you're smart,
yeah.
Buy that house, maybe a car. Don't buy a stupid expensive car and then go from there.
Hmm.
At least that's what people tell me.
Yeah, it's easier said than done.
I know it's easier said than done. Smooth the DJ has gifted 10 Poor Choices memberships. Thank you so much,
Yeah. Oh
Smooth.
yeah, give memberships out.
Yeah. Speaking of money spending, I've always told my when I'm live streaming, I like that you're just here. Don't need to spend money. And if you have the money to spend, just spend it wisely, okay? And I appreciate you guys spending the money here. So Cajun Corey has gifted 5
Yes,
Poor
there you go.
Choices memberships.
See,
Thank you
lessons
so much.
learned.
Yes.
Lessons learned.
Yeah. I mean, I learned the hard way. I don't know if you have a credit card story, but my first credit card,
Hmm.
luckily enough, it was only $1,000 limit. I maxed it out within like a couple
Yeah.
months and I couldn't pay it. My parents ended up paying it and they're like, okay, this is the one time you're not
Mhm.
allowed, we're not helping you after this. You have to be okay. Credit card doesn't mean free money.
Yeah.
It means you owe someone and
Yeah,
then
we
some.
we learned that the hard way. I mean, we had medical issues that
Oh no.
forced us into debt, and didn't turn out so well for us. And I can say that I've lived. I would say it's been 12 years since I've had a credit card. We just
Wow.
we just decided the temptation is not worth it, and
Yeah.
we if we don't have the money, we don't buy it.
I watched a TV show. I forgot what it was called, but helping people get out of their debt.
Hmm.
Um, and they consolidate it under
Yeah.
one low interest loan,
Hmm.
and then they say use only cash, and that's like
Mm.
the best way to control your spending because if you have the physical, then at least you know what you're spending. Now,
Yeah.
groceries are ridiculously
Oh yeah.
expensive today. Ooh.
Oh yeah, we rarely eat out. We buy all our food. We cook our own food. It's quite frankly, it tastes better and it's a lot
Oh
cheaper.
yeah,
Healthier.
Going
and
out.
especially if you have like it's healthier for you, and especially if you have
Mhm.
like it's just the two of us, but we still have a Costco membership or a Sam's Club membership, and it is paid off so much.
Yeah.
Because I can go even right now when we're budgeting as much as we are because we just moved. I can go to Costco and have like, yes, we're gonna spend maybe a slight over depending on how the taxes are and stuff, but that gives me food for at least a month and a half to 2 months for the two of us. Do you know what I mean? And so like I could freeze it and then I don't have to spend that kind of money again for a good 2 months or at minimum, you know? So it's like cooking your own food is the way to go. And I say that as somebody who likes to go out and have wine and party. And
the pandemic was great for that because
oh my God,
had
forcing
everything.
you to be home.
Yeah. I bought an Instant Pot.
Learn how to cook.
Do you have an air fryer?
We lived off that thing.
I love my air fryer and Instant Pot. Like two appliances you need, that and a coffee maker. If you can, you know.
Well, I would have liked a pellet smoker. But,
what?
Yeah,
that would have been nice. I have the Ninja grill, so it's like an air fryer grill veggie steamer. And if I can get a baking pan and make a cake, and then if I want to, I love that thing. Use that thing for
that
everything.
is freaking cool.
I haven't
oh my goodness.
Cakes in those yet.
I've wanted to try the yogurt function. Have you tried the yogurt function on the Instant Pot? Okay.
People.
It takes like hours and hours and hours. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, there's a whole setting for yogurt.
Yep. It was really confusing. I'm like, I'll just buy it. It's okay. The amount of electricity it uses to keep it low level heat, I think it's just better to buy it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I feel like we've learned so much. We've been like everywhere with you on this like journey.
Oh, there's still more you don't know.
Honestly, just in this past, like we chatted a little bit in LA, but that was barely scratching the surface. I'm glad that we've had this like whole hour and a bit to just chat with you because very interesting life. And I mean, I know you're from LA-ish area. You've been there a very long time.
Born and raised.
And do you travel a lot?
No, that's the other downside of not having money is you don't get to travel.
You get to go anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it costs a lot of money to travel. And,
no, honestly, it does. And we've been I've been very fortunate that I try to, like, Mark will tell you, I'm like, we're basically poor because of this traveling. I'm sorry. But it's good. It's for like our work too. I think it's cool to meet people and network and make content and whatnot. So I think one day it would be cool to get you out to like MegaCon or Dallas.
Like I want to try to make it to Vegas, the next Vegas one.
Yes, road trip. You and Chris Gore should just road trip.
Oh yeah, that would be so much easier.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna sneak in on Gary's Airbnb. And,
we won't snitch you out. I won't tell him either. He'll never know.
Yeah. But I haven't been to Vegas in a very long time.
If you're cool with loud girls that giggle a lot, I would be okay sharing a room with you, you guys.
I know. I heard what Gary said about you guys.
Oh my God.
The loud giggling. Oh my gosh. We had so much fun when we roomed together. Oh man.
Oh my gosh. Yes. We stayed up to like 3 a.m. chatting.
Yeah.
Yep.
We wouldn't do that if like someone's sleeping. But yeah.
You have your own room. It's fine. Just shut the door.
But it would be so fun to have you out there for sure. I definitely want to come back to LA. You need to meet Tugs too in person.
Oh yeah. Where are you at? Are you in Texas or?
Yes, we just moved to Bastrop, actually, which is a little small town outside of Austin. And right now I'm in Houston. My boyfriend started his first day here in Houston, so he's doing training. And so I was like, it's only 2 days. Like, can I go with you? He's like, fine.
We're paying for the room anyway. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. We're paying for the room anyway. So
Tugs is like, I haven't been away from you in like so long, so I don't
want
you to leave.
Listen, you joke, but and this is completely off topic, I'm so sorry. We just I realized it and he had to think about it. So he moved in with me in Vegas, when I lived in Vegas, December 3rd of 2022. We have not been apart for more than just like our work shifts for literally an entire year. This will be our first, like next week when he is in Houston by himself and I'm stuck 2 hours away and in Bastrop, that will be our first time ever away from each other other than like just going to work.
Mhm.
Oh my
And
God.
I'm dead serious.
Yeah.
And people can take that as they will, but I love it personally.
Well, we fingers crossed. We hope to do a big thing during South by Southwest for Film Fest.
Yes, please. I've always wanted to go.
Yeah, we can make it work out. We'll do it. We'll do it.
Yes.
Southwest. I have no
It's
idea
in
when that is.
Austin. It's huge. I've always wanted to go.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's near Mark's birthday. I mean, that would be a
Mhm.
great reason to head out there.
Yeah.
Let me know ASAP so we can get those tickets because they sell out quick.
Yeah. Well, we're there for the film festival, and we know we'll get in. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but
and maybe this time we will actually go with you guys.
She told me that, and I was like, I mean, I get it, but also Margot Robbie. Like, come on.
Well, 2 years ago, I was invited to the premiere of Everything Everywhere All at Once, and it was like, we're not going.
Wait,
we're
what?
not going to be there for that. Yeah.
Oh, dang it!
I
That
would
would
have
have been
loved
so
to have gone
fun.
to that.
That
Like,
awesome.
sorry, Margot Robbie. I would definitely have gone to that.
Mhm.
I mean, it's not like anything to do with Asian pride or anything, but
Yeah.
I think as an
It does.
actress, like she is amazing.
Yeah.
And after watching Short Round, I forgot his name in real
Anyway,
life. Yes. I think he'd be just a cool person. Like, so it would be fun to hear those stories if I even had a chance to talk about that.
I would love to hang out with him. He seems like just a genuinely excited, be like blessed to be alive type of guy. Like I love those people who just love their lives. Love
I know.
it.
He was at an event for the Critics' Choice Association, which I'm a part of, and I was talking to Chris, and my daughter was trying to grab me and say, "He's right there," and I didn't realize it, and then she won't let me live that one down.
Dang it, you could have. At least she had the good head on her shoulders not to like run off to go see him.
She may get that way soon, though. She's getting.
She might. I mean,
yeah.
She's at an age where it's getting to the cusp of her independence, and she's gonna find and push those boundaries. And I guess it'll be very interesting for you to get to there.
Yeah, I mean, when college occurs, that's the big unknown for all of us. We don't know what's going to happen.
Into the unknown.
Yeah. Valiant Renegade. You know him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. His one daughter's in college, and I just hearing the stuff. It's an interesting part of life, and depending on your relationship with your child, how close you are, how not close you are, it can really affect that.
Yeah. Well, it's like when your great grandparents came to America. It was that my grandparents, the dream was we come to America, all the kids go to college and they move out and become successful. And but for my dad's side, my mom's side, college was the dream, and all my aunts and uncles went to college. Before my mom passed, she would send me all these articles about how worthless college is. And we've had those conversations of when my kid goes to college, it's like, is she going to go to college? And we're like, she doesn't have to go to college.
I like that you're open to that because I mean, my parents that raised me,
the other ones,
the other ones,
your foster parents. I understand.
My foster parents, exactly. They said, you go to school, you get a job. They ingrain that into us. Like we heard that all the time.
Same
and it's not something that is necessarily true nowadays.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want, like, if I saw my kid wanted to go to English in university, which would be like your Harvard level types of education, because I know it's different in the States, and then your community college for plumbing, I'd be like, go for plumbing. Like, you will, as in South Park, the Pandaverse will make more money than you could ever imagine.
Yeah.
Yep. Trades are
People
where
don't know how to do that stuff anymore.
No.
Well, it's
trades
so
are
true.
Yeah.
I'm like trying to change my smoke detector batteries, and then I realized it expired, which is why it was beeping so much. So I'm like, I got to get a new smoke detector, and I have to figure out how to install it now. So
Yeah.
And well, last week we had the capable gentleman, and I don't know how to put curtain rods in a wall. I mean, I put it in the wall, okay? I didn't put it properly in the wall. It's like these little things that it doesn't. I wish like my parents taught us, but it's just something that we never were engaged in, and people just had to learn themselves. So I don't know how y'all did it without the internet.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
there was a time where you knew how to do everything. You know,
Uh-huh.
I was doing oil changes on my car. You know, I think I had friends who were doing their tune-ups on their car. You know, it's all different nowadays.
it's
You know, like before my mom passed, she had a garden in her front on her front porch. It was a container garden, and when she passed, I was like, I'll just take it over. And so I grabbed everything, and now I'm gardening.
Oh,
I love that.
Cute.
I'm not doing a good job, but I'm gardening.
I would say I would have promptly killed them.
Oh yeah, like I have a rabbit problem right now with my garden.
No, you need the chicken wire fence.
I do. I need to figure. Yeah, see, there you go. I got to figure that one out.
Yeah, and then the rabbits or one of the other things like birds will come and start stealing, and then you have to realize that you have to put something above as well.
Yeah.
So like I learned.
All my lettuce is gone.
Oh no!
Birds have come in and
you're so lucky you get to grow food all year round.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely not something poor X-Ray girl can do.
I have the
need a little greenhouse, like the little countertop ones.
Yeah.
One day. I have to figure out how to build something first. I don't know. Me and a power tool.
Andrew, Andrew Matthews, I don't think he can do that in LA. I don't think you're thinking like.
Can you imagine Alan in front of his yard with the crossbow?
Oh my god! No, I confronted the rabbit this morning. Yeah, he was like right.
Like, listen here.
Yeah, right on my containers, and I'm like, you know, and he's and the weird thing was he couldn't get through the fence at the pool, and so he was like stuck. He didn't know where to go, and he finally found a hole to run through.
Oh my god!
But yeah, there's a giant bush in the backyard, and there's a bunch of rabbits living in it. And
a giant bush, you say?
Yes.
Oh my god!
And by bush, I mean bush.
You mean George? I'm kidding.
Yeah.
No, not George.
Oh my gosh!
More Barbara than.
Oh no! All right. Well, Andrew Matthews for 2 British pounds says next time steal Kara. She is pocket size. Yes, she's so
is
tiny.
So small.
Oh my gosh. What was it? She was walking next to Max when we were kind of walking down the street, and that's when I realized how
legs doing this
small she was, because she's like a full head shorter than him.
She's shorter than me, and I'm pretty short.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, well, she was the same size as Audrey.
Yeah.
I have the pictures of it. It's a really cute picture.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then everyone said you were tall, and I'm like, you're not that tall.
Well, that
compared to the rest of us girls, she is.
It was Comics's and I's fault. Comics wore regular shoes and I wore heels. And when I took a picture next to Comics, we got little Comics, and then myself, who looked like I was 6 feet tall because I'm 5'7". Then the joke became 7 feet tall, 8 feet tall. Yeah. So the internet lies.
Yeah, when you see the award this video, you'll see how I tower over Chris Gore.
Oh my god, you are so much like this, at least?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Chris is not short by any means.
Chris is like 5'11", I think.
Yeah, he's average height, but
yeah, but you're like
6'1".
6'1". Okay.
Yeah. I'm the tallest in my family for many generations at this point.
Oh,
remind me when we meet, I need to wear heels. Okay.
Yeah.
So not like this in the pictures.
I have a theory that a lot of Asians, first generation, are you first generation? Or?
Yeah. For the most part,
first generation American Asians are going to grow taller because they have an excess of food.
Yeah. Yeah. I've heard that exact same thing.
Yeah. Because my brothers are around 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
They're big boys.
There's like an age I remember because my aunts were measuring us at that age, and at that point I was 3 feet tall, and they said, well, yeah, this can't be right because it says you're going to be 6 feet tall when you grow up, and that's
Oh, well,
yeah,
That's
was
it happened
wild.
early.
it was very correct. We got GJJ member for 4 months says, Alan, it's called an air rifle for the
Ooh, there
rabbit.
you go. You can get
Oh my God.
what's the Red Ryder BB gun from?
Oh, yeah,
Christmas
that's right.
Story? Yeah, don't shoot your eye out though.
I know, but they come back.
They always
they
do
do.
it like zombie rabbits or
Yeah.
like
No.
babies.
No,
I
they're
mean, you
just
think it'll help if I
stupid.
could put out like a bowl of rabbit food and
You could eat them. Yeah, there you go.
yeah, rather than my plants. Because I mean,
Maybe.
it's like it's not like they're eating my plants; they're digging through the garden, and
That's
They
even
might-
worse.
They might be enjoying everything that is in your garden, though. I think you just need to put the chicken wire up.
yeah, because
It's
like
gonna be ugly, but
because it's like I'm growing broccoli right now, and those have grown to a pretty good size, and so they're not even like they'll stay away from those, and they'll go after kind of my younger seedlings.
That's so rude. I wish I really need to learn how to grow my own veggies and stuff.
honestly, it's not that hard. I think the only thing for me personally with gardening is I overwater because I think
Mhm.
they need more water. So my friend said to get a I forgot it measures the water in the soil
Yeah,
as you're watering. It's like
Mhm.
yeah.
only 20
All my
bucks.
gardening supplies I bought off Temu, and so it's
Oh
really,
my god, yeah, you and Chris and
I know,
Temu.
you got me
Oh my
hooked.
god.
I love
got me hooked.
Temu. I thought it was Temu, but it's Temu.
Yeah, look.
I have no
See,
idea.
I have
That's
this
what
on
I
my
think.
desk.
Oh yeah, your infinity.
Yeah, and my skibbity bop toilet. I don't know if he got that off Temu, but like,
No, I think he bought it at LA Comic Con.
oh, it's kind of cute.
Even
It's just so
rabbits don't do
random.
laughing.
So
Yeah.
random. But anyways, I feel like we're going off on super tangents. So maybe we'll wrap it up here. Thank you so much, Alan, for coming on. This was a great talk. And if you say this is just scratching the surface, we're definitely going to have you back.
I know it'll get crazy. I'm actually related to a famous internet personality that you know.
Matt Rife.
Here, I'll put in the
Lauren Chen,
chat. No, this will blow your mind. Here, let me put it.
internet person. What if I actually don't know them? That would be so
No,
funny.
because he's sorry. This person's been on FNT. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this
I
person.
wasn't expecting that.
He's my nephew. He's my nephew.
In law?
No, yeah, in law.
Okay. All right, there we go.
I
That
was
makes
so
more
So I
sense.
can't let it go out right now. So
No,
keep it-
no, it's all good.
Yeah, I just don't want
Sorry,
you
Chet.
guessing at it. I want.
Yeah,
I just tell you right away.
it's definitely Mr.
Yes,
Beast, guys.
Yeah. Jimmy is my nephew.
So, that is cool. We'll have to chat about that. Oh yeah, and Disbrew and Alex Jones. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I mean, God, I'm his daughter. I would know. But anyways, Tugs, anything coming up that you want to share?
Nothing specific. No, I'll be in my prison here that everybody's been commenting in the chat. Like, is she in interrogation room? Tomorrow
Kinda
night for
looks like
4
that.
choices as well, and then back to normal Friday. So
Cool.
yeah, everybody's guessing. I already told you guys he's related to Matt Rife. Good luck.
Yes, man, right.
As for this channel, we're not sure if we're going to be streaming tomorrow, depending on. I'm going on assignment and traveling to the States. You will see what I'm traveling for eventually, but depending on my schedule and stuff, we might not be able to stream tomorrow. We'll let you guys know. And of course, Alan, thank you so much for being here. Where can people
Yes.
find you?
Yeah, I'm on Film Threat on everything. We have a live stream tomorrow, and I believe we're talking about American
Film?
fiction or something like that, or it's or Wonka or something. I don't know, but we got some, and then we got a big Disney thing coming up. We're going to do an expose on Disney,
Ooh.
which starts a week from Wednesday, where we talk about
you
the
should put-
downfall of John Lasseter.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So yeah, sub to Film Threat. Awesome channel. Support my dad so he can support me.
Yeah,
And me, because I'm her wifey. So
yes, you're getting
Me
some
too.
gifted subs for Christmas. So
Aw. Thank you very much. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye.